Well, good evening, everyone. I want to call the September 8th, 2016 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting to order. Commissioner Caslin, would you lead us in a prayer and the pledge?
I will. Dear Heavenly Father, we pause for a moment to thank you for the many blessings you bestowed upon us, and we ask you to send your Holy Spirit to guide us in the work that we do this evening. We ask you to bless all those that we represent throughout our community. We ask you to bless especially all our soldiers, airmen, and seamen across the world. Protect them. And for all those who are in special places that need special prayers this evening, dear Lord, we just ask you to send your angels to be with them and to protect them. We pray these things in the name of Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner, and once again I want to welcome everyone to our September 8th, 2016 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting. Jenny, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Judge, Dean Dennis had to step out. His PowerPoint presentation was not working, so
Thank you,
Lord. He ran back to his office and he asked that he be put down as far as he needs to be.
If we are fortunate, we'll get done before he gets back, and we can put him on next. I'm sorry, Dean, if you're seeing this replay. That's great. Let's go ahead with the item A.
Proclamation, National Recovery Month, September 2016.
Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of one's overall wellness, and preventing and overcoming mental and substance abuse disorders is essential to achieving healthy lifestyles, and whereas according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration in 2013, of all Americans 12 years or older, 24.6 million admitted use of illicit drugs or illegal prescription-type psychotherapeutics. 21.6 million were classified with substance dependence abuse, and of these 2.6 million were classified with dependence or abuse of both alcohol and illegal drugs. 66.9 million people use tobacco products. And whereas, according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, in 2013, 43.8 million adults experienced a mental health illness, and of those, 34.6 million received mental health care treatment. And whereas, while many Americans still go without needed behavioral health treatment, recent changes to the U.S. health system are removing barriers, allowing access to essential mental health and substance abuse treatment, and many health plans must now offer coverage for these treatments. And whereas, to help more people achieve long-term recovery, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the White House Office of Drug Control Policy, and the Daviess County Fiscal Court invite and encourage all citizens to participate in National Recovery Month. Now, therefore, I, Al Mattingly, Daviess County Judge Executive, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2016 as National Recovery Month. And Sarah Atkins with the Owensboro Regional Recovery is here to accept this. Sarah, if you'll come forward, let me give this to you. And while you're going back to the podium to say something, I'll just make a comment. Folks, I truly believe that a large cause, one of the biggest causes of homelessness that we have in not only our community but in the United States as well, is a result of substance abuse, number one, and mental illness, number two. And until we get those things in control, we are going to continue to see an inordinate amount of our resources go toward trying to help those people. I was reading an article today where we talked about it seems like all we do in America is treat the symptom and not treat the root cause. And until we start treating the root cause, this is going to be with us for a very long time. Sarah, I'm done with my preaching.
Okay. I just want to thank the court for recognizing September as National Recovery Month, and just want to highlight a couple things we have going on. Friday night, tomorrow night, we're having a walk for recovery. It's a walk for awareness and remembrance of people who have lost their lives to the disease of alcoholism and addiction. That'll start at 8 o'clock at the Greenbelt intersection of Byers Avenue, and then it will end at Owensboro Regional Recovery. So we invite everyone to come out and participate in that. And also on Saturday, ORR is hosting our annual Recovery Celebration and Alumni Day. It's a huge event, picnic. It's open to the public. We have free food, T-shirts, horse and pony rides for the kids, bounce house, volleyball tournament, cornhole tournament, all kinds of stuff. So please bring the family. It's free, fun day, and we hope everyone will come out and learn about what we do and learn that we also have fun in recovery too. So thank you.
Sarah, thank you. And I would encourage each and everyone to go to that welcome home event, because that's where family, spouses, moms and dads, brothers, sisters, and kids come, and you really see what the real impact of substance abuse is. And then you get to see the real impact of what you guys do, just as you do at drug court, Claude, when we go there and see what happens when someone is finally clean and sober. So I would encourage each and every one. Commissioner?
I just wanted to take the opportunity, since as I listened to you read that proclamation, I know one of the things as far as illegal drug use is prescription drugs, and the sheriff's here, and I know he's got the box that is in his office where people could turn in their drugs that they don't use anymore. And Sheriff, if you mind just stand up and telling folks how they go about using that, and just use this as an opportunity to educate our populace.
The prescription drug box, of course, is located where you pay your taxes downstairs in our main office. There's also one over at the Owensboro Police Department. It's available anytime during working hours as far as the office is concerned, which is primarily between 8 o'clock in the morning and 4:30 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. They can come in, and any of our staff will be glad to assist them in how to drop them off there. We will encourage them to do that, and then they're disposed of in a manner that is appropriate.
Sheriff, that would include all drugs, not just opioids and things
Absolutely.
like that. Any drugs that you need to get rid of rather than flush them down or put them in the garbage, you could bring them here.
That is correct.
Anything else?
That's all. Thank you,
Commissioners?
Judge.
Sarah, thanks for the great work you do. All right, Jenny, he came back. I was hoping that maybe he'd get tied up, but.
I've had a request to move the Corvette up so they
Okay.
can go do their thing.
All right.
Okay, B, Corvette Lovers Vet Clubs check for the 2016 Yellow Creek Park Car Show.
What are you grinning at?
Well, Judge, this is an opportunity for us to be able to present something that's a win-win-win. And with me here tonight is Charles Mattingly and Tina Frazier. If I could to have Miss Frazier and Mr. Mattingly to be able to come up. They are representatives of the Corvette Lovers Vet Club. And for the second year, Yellow Creek Park hosted their car show, which is, this year was on the 23rd of July. We have scheduled the date for 2017, which is the 22nd. We just met yesterday. And so I'll turn that over to them. They've got a couple of checks they'd like to be able to present. We've won because we've had people in the park. They've won because they've had a great car show. And now two of our local agencies are going to be able to win because they're going to make contributions to those.
Okay. Ms. Frazier, Mr. Mattingly? Okay, well, so she's a Mattingly as well, with good people.
I'm a used to be Mattingly. Good afternoon. I would like to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to host our car show for the second time out at Yellow Creek Park Church. I'm nervous, please excuse me.
All right.
But out at the park, it's a beautiful park, along with the help that we received from Ross. This is the second year in a row that we were highly successful. We have no complaints, and it just gives us more enthusiasm to strive and make it better next year. Again, along with me, we have several of our club members that wanted to come along and make the presentation.
Why don't you invite them to stand so we can see?
Like to stand, please?
Okay.
And with, we currently have 106 members, and this is our fourth year of actually being a car club in this area. And without the help of all the members and all the sponsors and all the volunteers that we have, we could not be as successful as what we are. But at this time, we would like to ask Ashley Clark and Alex Bivens to come forward to accept the check for the Daviess County Animal Control. If I can drag a member up here, I would let them
Good luck.
present the check to them. Well, at this time, we would like to present a check in the amount of $1,500 to Ashley Clark, and we want to thank them for their outstanding hard work and dedication that they give to this community.
Ashley, this is getting to be a habit. The only time you show up in court anymore is when you get a check. Smart girl.
Thank you. Okay. And we would also like to ask Eric Miller with the Western Kentucky Raptor Center. Again, we like donating to them. I know he also does a lot of hard work and has a lot of dedication. We always enjoy going out to our car show. He actually brings the birds of prey and walks around. So actually he educates the people of, part of the services that Yellow Creek Park does offer out there. And again, we are also presenting to Eric a check for $1,500 to the Western Kentucky Raptor Association. And as Ross mentioned, we have already set our date for July the 22nd, 2017. We've already started gearing forward to make sure that next year is even more successful than this year. And at this time, I would like to invite each and everyone here to please be sure to come out and join us for the day. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of beautiful cars. It's not all Corvettes. It's every type of car that you can imagine. I mean, we even had a little 7-year-old girl that had a car that she registered this past year, and she was very proud of it. She ended up winning a trophy. It was one that was like a 1958. Well, it was a very small car that her father did all the work, but she got all the credit for it. So it meant a lot to her to walk up in front of 300 people to actually receive a trophy for her hard work that day. But again, like I said, our main goal is we receive so much pleasure and everything going out to the parks and everything, and this gives us an opportunity to give back to the community, and we look forward to doing the same thing this time next year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Ms. Frazier, on behalf of the Raptor Center and the Animal Shelter, let me say thank you for what you and the Corvette Lovers Club do, and we certainly enjoy opening the People's Park up to you, and you're right, it's one of the most beautiful parks that we have. So thank you again. Thank you. Commissioners, any comment or question? Okay, now we come to the part of the meeting that I just love. Go ahead.
Are we ready for Mr. Dennis?
Yeah.
OwensboroTickets.com and operations update by Owensboro Convention Center GM Dean Dennis.
Commissioners, as you recall, about this time last year, I think we made a grant to put a ticketing system in place, and you requested that they come back, report to us what was going on with that money. So Mr. Dennis is the face of the management team over at the Convention Center. So Dean, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. I do want to introduce the real folks who get it done every day for us, and that's my team, director team. On the end is Jamie Sheffer, who's our Director of Finance. James Way is our Director of Ticketing and Events. Mark Pruitt is our Director of Food and Beverage Services, and Laura Alexander is our Director of Sales and Marketing. So that's the team that really
let
does
me,
all the
before
work.
you go further, on behalf of the class of '65, thank you guys for a wonderful class reunion we had last fall. If anybody is considering that, contact Laura was my contact, because I like dealing with her better than you.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, Judge.
But you guys made it very easy.
Thank you.
for us to do what we did. So
Thank you.
Now go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Well, just quickly, and he said I'm not getting as much time as the city, so I'll be real brief here. But you all know that we were Global Spectrum when we were here last fall. We rebranded to Spectra by Comcast Spectacor, our parent company. We're based in Philadelphia. We took 3 of our different independent pieces, our venue management, our food services, and our ticketing, all into one, and we are now Spectra by Comcast Spectacor. As you know, our mission is to provide economic growth to the local community by bringing quality events to Owensboro and managing their success. And we know that you know that because you've got a $20 million toe in the sandal. So we appreciate all you've done to make this a success for Owensboro as well. And so I want to share a little bit about kind of what our success has been and our mission. We obviously are focused on multi-day events with hotel rooms and conventions and conferences. That's the big rocks in our bowl, in our jar. And I don't know if you've seen that presentation. The little rocks are multiple day public events. We just had a show here this last weekend that had 3 days associated with it. It's driving hotel room nights as well. The little smaller rocks are programming to complement existing events, our Fourth Fest, Barbecue Festival, Air Show, Friday after 5. And then finally are just the single day events, that the holiday banquets, parties, wedding receptions, and reunions that fill in that business. But really here to talk about OwensboroTickets.com and what it has meant for us and this community. The judge, as you know, talked about silo busting and bringing together nonprofits that have ticketing services now, or finding ways to do ticketing through Eventbrite and Ticket Leap and a variety of other mechanisms. And so these are just some of the events that we've held on our system since last August. We're very proud of the numbers. We've had over 167 different shows, events, and registrations on the system. There's been more than 100 event sessions, so separate events. That represents about 21 different nonprofits that have participated in OwensboroTickets.com. We've sold 39, almost 40,000 tickets in 2016. Overall, since we started, we're at 68,000 tickets sold from 45 states and Canada. And one of the things I remember talking with you about, Judge, was the analytics and be able to tell where tickets buyers are coming from. We can do a zip code report and know that we sold tickets to all these different states. But the big numbers, over $1.5 million worth of ticket sales have gone through that system since we started last August. And so these, of course, don't reflect our gross income. I wish they did, and we'd be giving you $1,500 checks too. But that represents how many dollars have been on the system since we started. Overall, I wanted to share a few numbers that I'd shared with the city at the commission work session the other day about the investment that this building has had, not just on the ticketing side, but overall since date to date. Through our payroll and the goods and services that we buy locally, we've contributed over $11 million, almost 12, into the community. The visitor impact has been equally substantial. Over 23,000 room nights and over 300,000 people have gone through the doors of the convention center since we opened. And as you all know, the CVB, which is funded through the county's collection of that tax, their revenues continue to climb as a result of I think, the impact of the convention center. The impact of that, these are numbers provided to us by the Commonwealth, the Tourism and Heritage Department, which gives us the $177.16 for an overnight visitor and $132 for a day visitor. So about a $40 million impact that we have on the community. As I say, the CVB we've had great headlines for the building and continued great success. I'd thrown this slide in to kind of show how we compare. It's hard to compare some of the buildings, but in some of our competitive set is the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. And in a comparable market, comparable size of venue, we're doing more net income than they do. And in KIC, which is the Kentucky International Convention Center, we actually are just within a few $100,000 of being where they are for gross income in a market that's 10 times our size and a building that's 10 times our size. So we're very proud of how we stack up against our competition. Ultimately, are we exceeding expectations? I think so. I think our gross revenue since opening is over $6 million. We've done 22 conventions, and we were projected to do maybe 12 by the study. And we're doing about $11,000 revenue per event when they're projecting about $2,000. So we feel like we really are exceeding expectations, and a lot of that, at the end of the day, is just about beating budget, which is $34,000 ahead of where we thought we'd finish in just our second operational year. We have great community partners, obviously, in addition to the county and the city, of course, and the CVB, but lots of corporate partners that help us to drive the business that we have to drive into that facility. And most importantly, I want to thank, right behind me, Sheriff Kane has 300 or so sheriffs and sheriff's employees coming to Owensboro next week. And if it weren't for the people of the community that are bringing that business back to us and bringing the reunions to us, it doesn't work. And so I want to personally thank Sheriff Kane for his efforts in bringing that convention to us for 2 straight years. We know they're going to have to go somewhere else next year, but we'll get them back, right? We'll bring them back. But we call it Bring Your Meeting Home, and Sheriff Kane and like him have brought us lots of business back to this community, and that's really important. Of course, our survey scores, we're averaging 4.75 out of a 5. We can always do better, and we send a personal note and survey to every event that comes through the venue, and we feel like we're pretty much hit our stride in terms of our overall client satisfaction. And of course, what they're saying about us, we're very, very proud of the comments and services that we provide back to our customers. And just as a recap, we beat budget. We had a significant impact on the community, and again, from a ticketing standpoint, I think the future continues to look bright with our ticketing system. We aren't quite breaking even yet in terms of operating it, but that's on us, and we continue to, as we add more and more nonprofits. We just added Voices of Elmwood this year, all of their ticket sales, and the Masquerade Ball from the Owensboro Science and History Museum. So we continue to do more and more to add that on, and it'll be a bright future for us for the ticketing system. And I again want to thank you all for your support of that project a year ago.
Well, Dean, thank you for what you and your company do for this community and operating that, but you just answered one of the questions I had. I can't remember how many tickets you need to sell through that system to generate enough income to pay the cost of operating it. We provide the money for the capital costs, and you guys are trying to make up the cost of operation. How far are you from that?
We're really close.
Okay.
The piece that we don't really is our box office person, our actual staffing costs.
Yeah.
But the actual cost of the ticketing itself, we're right at break even.
Okay.
So,
good.
and we have a staff anyway. In fact, he just left. The realtor stole him, so we're in the market for a new ticketing person to help us with that.
And that's just
Staffing
in 1
costs.
year, so.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioners, yes, sir.
I have one question on, you said the data is collected on people who buy the tickets.
Yeah.
Is that information shared with the individual groups that are actually having the event?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
they get all those analytics.
They get all that?
Mm-hmm. They sure do. And they own all of the information associated with who the email, et cetera, from that account, whoever bought that ticket.
Do you get to keep that too?
We do.
Okay.
And you can market other events to those folks.
That is correct.
Yes.
Now, we don't use, correct me if I'm wrong, James, we don't use River Park Centers.
Okay.
As part of our agreement with
Right.
them, we don't they have their list and we have ours.
Yes.
But every other event that's sold, we do have that.
Okay.
and
And that's just going to build on itself over the next few years.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
I just
Yes,
got
sir.
a comment.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Your staff really does an excellent job at these shows, and I know Laura especially, she's family, but during the day she works hard, but at night when those shows are going on, she barely has time to say hello. If you just watch her, that's what brings it, that personal touch.
Thank you.
And thank you for that.
Well, I thank her, and those 4 people sitting there are really the ones that drive that from the top down of our service and our commitment to it. And we say all the time, this job is for, we are working whenever other people are having fun, and that's the job that they chose, and we're in it. And but if we were all like Laura, we could do it with a smile, right?
Are all you had some comments up there about people who have used our facility.
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, as far as the ticketing, are the users, the end users, are they pleased with how it works?
They are. We've had really good responses we've had a couple of things just in terms of a learning curve of using an electronic system where they've been buying them just off the table before. So it's a little different. But most people are becoming more and more the ease of buying and working on your phone to buy tickets and everything. We're all getting smarter about how to make that work, including my 80-year-old mother. That, you figure that stuff out. And so that learning curve has been really shortened quite a bit. But that was the first problem we had, was just getting people to learn they've got to go to, you have to set up this account, buy this ticket. But no, we haven't had any problems. In fact, we put all the Big O's tickets this year on the system, and we had really no complaints with that. When we first went on with CASA last year, we had a few, just a learning curve. But since then, we've really not had any issues with both the purchaser and the promoter that has the system.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Dean, thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you all.
it.
I
Look
appreciate
forward
the support.
to a report next year.
Yes,
and
sir.
next year you'll be over the hump.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Jenny, next item.
Item 2, consideration for approval, A, minutes of the August 23rd, 2016 court meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Commissioners, you all had a copy of the minutes in your possession for some time. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
B, all claims for all departments.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion second. Again, Commissioners, you've all had a copy of bills due and payable by Daviess County Fiscal Court. Do you have any questions of the treasurer at this time? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
C, Daviess County Sheriff's 2015 county tax settlement.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Hendricks, I know the sheriff is here. Would you comment first, and then Sheriff, I'll let you've got a copy of the tax settlement?
Yes, this is something they're required to do annually. I've reviewed the county's portion of this. I find it to be in order, and I can report to the court that no one from any of the other taxing jurisdictions has made me aware of any issue with their numbers.
Okay. Sheriff?
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. We are here today to present our county tax settlement for the 2015 tax year. This settlement is required in order to receive our quotas from the state. We collected $51.3 million from the various taxing districts. Of the total collected, $28.2 million, that's roughly 55% of the total collections, was paid to the county schools. Our collection rate continues to be, as it has in past years, exceptional, with a collection rate of 99.5% for the tax year just ended. All taxes have been remitted to the taxing districts. The Revenue Cabinet has completed their audit of the state taxes collected, and we are in compliance with their requirements. We're therefore requesting our quotas for the 2015 tax year. And I would be remiss, Judge, if I did not thank Joe Glenn and his staff downstairs, my Chief Financial Officer, who continues to amaze me by keeping fiscal integrity of our office in the black. So, Joe, thank you publicly for what you do for us, sir.
Okay. Sheriff, thank you, your office, and Joe. I know around tax time he starts to shake a little bit. Reminds me of a bird dog out in the midst of a covey.
Almost as much as budget time, Judge.
Almost as much as budget time. But during tax collection, he's away from me. During budget time, we become real close. But I do want to thank you for everything you do, and you have an outstanding collection rate. I would stack it up next to any other county in our Commonwealth. So thank you very much.
Judge, if I could just take
yes, sir.
a moment of personal privilege.
Sure.
And I wish Dean and Laura hadn't already left. I did want to make a special invitation to each of you to come over to the conference center next week, starting this Sunday and all throughout the next week through Friday. We'll have roughly 85 of Kentucky's 120 sheriffs here, and their personnel and their families. We'll have, I think we've got over 180 registered, probably have close to 350 people here spending their money throughout the week. They were here last year, and I can tell you, when you put that many police officers, particularly sheriffs, together, they are not bashful at all about complaining about things that don't go right. But I will tell you, throughout that week last year, we didn't hear that first complaint. In fact, all we heard from people was how beautiful our city was, how friendly our people are. The Lord cooperated and gave us some really beautiful weather, which helped out a lot. And Dean and his staff and Miss Laura and all those individuals went out of their way from the days prior to the conference and helping us organize it all up through the conference and ensuring the success of that conference. And it was very, very, very well received. The sheriffs absolutely cannot wait to get back to Owensboro. And though our bylaws require that we go somewhere else for the next couple of years, they're already talking about coming back here a couple of years thereafter. So it makes me all that much more proud to be sheriff of what I consider to be the greatest community in our Commonwealth. I know, Judge, you're going to be there Monday morning to welcome them. But I hope y'all can come over one evening. We'll have a hospitality hour starting at about 6:30 every night. Both the Hampton and the Holiday Inn are full as a result of this conference, and I sure hope that I can see y'all over there.
Sheriff, thank you. As a matter of fact, Jenny just finished my 17-page welcome. I see this as an opportunity to get back to you for
You're all right, Judge.
asking a blessing and
Because
all
I'll be
those
praying
kinds
right
of
before
things.
you speak.
Well, I'm going to come about 15 minutes late, so. Well, Sheriff, thanks for the invitation. Commissioners, any question or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. We accept the settlement. Thanks, Sheriff.
One last
Yes, sir.
public acknowledgement, Judge. Our office continues to enjoy the cooperation of this fiscal court. You've always been supportive of us. And again, I never pass up the opportunity to publicly thank you for that on behalf of my officers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
D, allocate funds to support a portion of the farmer's market construction project.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Commissioners, in your packet, and we have talked about this, we were asked to participate in the location of the farmer's market in a new facility, to put a permanent facility there. You saw the article in the paper today, which I thought was excellent, and I think my words were pretty true. They got booted around like stepchild, no offense to stepchildren, but they have finally found a place to settle down, and we're going to get an opportunity to allocate those funds. Certainly, as I indicated, these funds would be last in. You don't get them right now, but when you get everything together, then we will participate. And before you give us a little update or a brief, I just want to say thank you to the farmers market, your group, for staying like a bulldog or a bird dog on the trail, because it's been a long, arduous task. I just wish my good friend Lucy Gates was here to see this. Lucy and I went to high school together. Lucy was a wonderful lady, and just before she passed on, she was in my office talking about this very subject. So let's go.
Judge, thank you. I'm Glenn Scherds. I'm the president of the Owensboro Regional Farmers Market. And you're right. I've been a part of the market for several years now, and it's always been, we want a permanent home. And with the help of Owensboro Regional Farmers Market, with Owensboro Health, we've been able to secure a 20-year lease on the property that used to be, everybody knew as the south parking lot of the hospital. And we moved there with this season, and it's been phenomenal. We've been able to do a lot of things we couldn't do on somebody else's property. For example, and understandable, we have people in the community that make wine, and that doesn't go well in a church parking lot. So we've been able to have people to be able to participate with that kind of product. We had a lot of restrictions, no crafts. Craft vendors couldn't participate. And so with all this, we are able to have a more full market. We are able to be able to provide local vendors with the opportunity to to sell what they have, not just, like I say, just produce, but we have a full range of produce, meats, breads, those types of things, and now with wine and some crafts as they come in. So it's really been a golden opportunity now that we can move forward. Another piece that the vendors and the community have said that we want in a permanent location, we want a building. We want something that we can get in out of the weather when the weather is adverse. We can extend our season. Now we're running a 6-month season. We can run a longer season. Also, we did a feasibility study back in the winter and on a commercial kitchen, and it was a positive outcome from that feasibility study. So we're not just looking at a picnic shelter type market. We're looking at something that's going to really be a place the community can use and access, so that the community can then have fresh produce and value-added products and those types of things. So there's a lot of excitement with this, and we're just now starting our financial campaign, but we are moving forward pretty quickly, and we will meet next week with Kentucky Ag Development Board for hopefully about half of the ticket, but they only provide half of the ticket, so we've got a lot of work to do. So any and all proceeds we greatly appreciate. So again, I thank you for this opportunity.
Okay, commissioners, any question or comment?
I'll just say I'm looking forward to seeing this thing evolve and grow, and with having consistent location, and I think it's really going to be good for the community. So thanks for doing it.
All right.
Well, you know, this community, our county is becoming more urban and suburban. But with that said, the vast majority of the land is used in agriculture. And the other issue is, as I've said, but the Commissioner of Agriculture, both former Commissioner Comer and Commissioner Quarles have made Kentucky Proud products and the use of Kentucky products a priority. And we all know the value of fresh produce, vegetables, and other things. And so I want to thank, again, you guys for your continued doggedness to make sure that this becomes a reality. This court has had a history of participating and helping agriculture, and we know how valuable it is, and we know the amount of money that brings into this community. So thank you very much. We look forward to the day when we have a grand opening.
I tell you, and how it is. I'm actually a Hoosier, and Kentucky has done through the tobacco buyout and those, has done a tremendous job, much better than a lot of other states, in helping the smaller grower. And this is just a continuation of that, and that's why I come across the river. This is a wonderful place to be able to sell what you have and what you've produced.
Okay. We also have former Commissioner Bruce Coonsey with us. Commissioner, do you want to come up and say a word or two, because you've been instrumental in staying on my rear end, making sure this didn't get forgotten?
Yeah, and we appreciate your aid in all that we've done, Judge and Commissioners. It has been a long process, and we still have a ways to go, but with the financial backing of the fiscal court, it's going to send a strong message to the Ag Development Board at the state level. And the local Daviess County Ag Development Board approved $69,500 a couple of weeks ago toward the project, and we're in discussion with a couple of banks right now as well. So we really want this to be a community effort, but the fact that the fiscal court is stepping up and helping with this means a great deal to us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other comment or question? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
E, contract with American Engineers Incorporated to replace existing Jones Road Bridge with metal arch culvert.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Brasher, tell us what we're doing here.
Yes, Judge. This is an agreement with American Engineers for them to do the hydraulic analysis of the existing bridge on Jones Road next to Reed Road to see if we can replace that bridge structure with a pipe-type structure. We expect to resurface Jones Road within the next couple of years. We've had some issues with this structure the past 12 months. Now is the appropriate time for us to replace it with another bridge or a pipe. So this study will get us going in that direction.
Okay. Total of the contract, $4,800.
Yes, sir.
And this is a professional service contract, so we don't go out and bid this, and we have worked with American Engineers in the past.
We have? Yes, sir.
Yes, Commissioner.
Is this a bridge right there at Reed Road?
It is.
So, is it the way that Jones Road comes into Reed Road, is that gonna be rerouted or changed at all, or?
No, it won't be rerouted. That would take, obviously, utilities, and there are utilities in the area. It's probably why it does what it does. Our expectation is to replace it with a pipe, a longer pipe, so we can get rid of the guardrail, give it shoulders, give it a more comfortable ride.
Okay.
Any other question or comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
F, easement with the Atkins Family Trust for the purpose of installing a voting receiver.
Motion
Move to
approved.
approve. Second.
I have a motion. Second, folks, if you're listening, this has nothing to do with voting. Claude, do you want to kind of tell us what we're doing here?
Well, Judge, this is just an easement to allow us to place an electrical transmission line to service the radio receiver they want to place on the water tower out there to enhance the ability of the 911 system. And this is the grant from them to allow us to put it underground, actually, across the property.
Okay. Any question or comment? I want to just take the opportunity to say thanks to that trust for allowing us that easement. We're paying them $1 for the easement across their land. So there being no question or comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
G, award bid 29, 2016 Utica voting receiver project.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second.
Yes,
Your
Judge.
own.
This is for the Utica radio receiver site project. The fiscal court received one bid from Ohio Valley Two-Way Radio in the amount of $23,429.20. The bidder met all specifications with an estimated completion date of November 30th of this year. I recommend award.
Jordan, tell us why we only received one bid.
There is a closet, an equipment closet actually owned by Ohio Valley Two-Way Radio that has to be accessed during this project. I believe that the other bidders may have had a problem with going through the very extensive process with accessing that closet. Probably deterred them a little bit.
Okay. Any other question or comment? Yes, sir.
Comment, and this was about $3,000 under the original budget, wasn't it?
That is correct. 911 Director Paul Nave and his radio technicians originally estimated this project would cost about $26,000, so they were very happy with this.
Okay. Thank you. And we call it a voting receiver, but actually what it is, it will take the transmission from about a 2-watt handheld radio and redirect it into the 911 center. Those 2-watt radios with changes in frequency, when you're down in a valley behind a big structure, you just don't do it. And this really what we're doing is for the safety of our first responders, the firemen, sheriff's department. As a matter of fact, I think I recounted when we had an issue out toward Ben Hall State Park last year. We had just placed one of these out in that area, and if we hadn't had that out there, may not have been the communication back and forth that was necessary. Any other question or comment? Question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
H, promote Ron Whitworth from service technician to solid waste truck driver effective 9/6/16.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second. Commissioner, the next 3 items are just kind of a cascade. We had someone leave our employee. We opened up internally, and this gentleman was chosen to take the place of the person who had quit. Any question or comment? George, did you serve on that interview committee?
That would be me.
Oh, Charlie, that's right, it was Operations Center. So this was the best person that you
Absolutely.
had come before you. Okay. Any question or comment? Other question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
I promote Austin Bean from utility laborer to Department of Public Works Service Technician effective 9/6/16.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Again, Commissioners, you can see where Austin has moved from labor up to service technician, taking Mr. Whitworth's place as a technician. Any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
J, hire Gavin Cecil as a Department of Public Works utility laborer effective 9/19/16.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Again, Commissioners, this is the fellow that has replaced, ultimately the one that quit. So we are not adding any employees. We're just replacing or filling a vacancy. Any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
K, second reading of Ordinance A 2016 and ordinance relating to the adoption of the 2016 tax rates.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion second. Mr. Hendricks, you want to take us through this?
Yes, Judge. It's an annual exercise the court must do. The court must set rates for each year, even if there's absolutely no changes. So this is the ordinance to set the rates for the calendar year 2016. It's consistent with the budget. There are no additional taxes. There are no tax increases. Actually, this reflects the court's wishes this year to take the compensating rate, which is basically defined as the rate that would yield the same amount of revenue. As assessments went up substantially, the rate actually decreased. So the rate that I'm about to read, actually the real property rate reflects a decrease from 13.6 cents per $100 of value is being reduced to 13.5 cents. And the personal property rate that was 18 cents per $100 of value is being decreased to 17.89. I'll read those rates, and there are no increases and no other decreases. The real property rate for the new ordinance would be 13.5 cents per $100 of value. Personal property, 17.89. Public service company, real property, 13.5. Public service company, tangible, 13.89. Distilled spirits, 17.89. Motor vehicles, 17 cents. Watercraft, 17 cents. Large non-commercial documented watercraft, 17.89. Aircraft, both recreational and non-commercial, is 17.89. Agricultural products, primarily tobacco and storage, is 1.5 cents. Other agricultural products, 4.5 cents. And bank deposit tax is 2.5 cents. The ordinance will be published and is effective upon publication, and this is the second reading.
Okay. Just a couple comments. It's nice when we can decrease the rate. Now, certainly, we want people to know it doesn't decrease the revenue, but we are taking that compensating rate that gives us generally the same amount of revenue that we had. We're able to do that for a couple reasons. The first reason, and I'm going to, Commissioner, steal your thunder, it's because of the good employees that we have. We have good people out there. They do their job in a conscientious manner. And the second reason, and I'm going to give props to the commissioners up here, they are liaison to all of our various departments. They help me run the day-to-day operations of the county, and you folks do an awfully good job making sure that we use public money for public purpose. And that, in the end, is really our job, is public money for public purpose. And all of you do an excellent job. Any question or comment? Hearing none, any question or comment by the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Item 3, consideration for appointments. A, Debbie Zerner Johnson to the Owensboro-Davis County Drug and Alcohol Steering Committee, effective 9/1/16 and expiring 9/1/19.
Motion approved.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Commissioners, Ms. Zerner Johnson has served us very well on the Owensboro Davis County Drug and Alcohol Steering Committee. She is excellent in her participation. I want to thank her for her service in the past, and I know she's going to continue to do a good job. Any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
B, Sarah Adkins to the Owensboro Davis County Drug and Alcohol Steering Committee, term 9/1/16 to 9/1/19.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Sarah, I was trying to figure out why in the world you would sit through the rest of this meeting, and now I just realize it. First, I want to say thank you to Jonathan for serving. He did an excellent job. Sarah has a passion for this type of thing, and I appreciate you volunteering to serve. Any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
C, Julie Starnes to the River Park Center Board, 9/1/16 to 9/1/19.
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioners, Ms. Starnes has served a term on that board. She's done an excellent job for our, oh yeah, get it. Go ahead, Sarah, now leave. Yeah, that's okay. Has done an excellent job, and I know that she'll continue to do a good job for us. Any question or comment? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
4, consideration for discussion. A, other business to be brought before the Davis County Fiscal Court.
Let me just clarify this before we go any further. This was put on by Mr. Smith because Mr. Hawker requested it.
I thought
Go
it was
ahead.
your fault, Judge.
It's not my fault. Go ahead.
Approval to advertise bid number 30, 2016, radial arm stacker.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Mr. Smith, explain to us what a radial arm stacker is and why we are going to advertise to bid for this.
The radial arm think about this now before you answer.
Be
think
careful.
hard and long.
Be careful how you do this.
A radial arm stacker takes the, we have a screen out there to screen our dirt to make it sure there's certain sizes. The radial arm stacker allows us to take the material out further from the screen itself, which keeps us from having to run a dozer to push it out of the way all the time. This is the first time I think he's rented one.
Yes.
And he loved it, and I think he talked to you and Commissioner Wathen out there. Were you all, was it in operation when you all were out there?
It was.
And
Very efficient.
apparently he asked for permission to look at purchasing one, and
okay. Be careful where you go with it.
And that's the end of the story.
Oh, that's what I
the
thought.
end of it.
Okay.
He asked for permission.
Commissioner Wathen and I were out there. We're in the midst. I mean, they're just working like busy bees trying to get the cell ready. They use this to screen the material that they build the cell with. We had rented this thing, I think, for like $10,000. We talked to the rental company. We think that if we bid this out, they will give us credit against that machine for the rental, which means it becomes very affordable. And it will be used many, many times there at the landfill. So again, this is we didn't have time to. Jordan is about as slow as molasses when it comes to getting bids out on these things, and we wanted to get this out because we don't believe that if we delayed it by 2 or 3 months that they would then be amenable to giving us credit for the.
And like always, advertising for bid does not commit the court to purchasing it.
That's correct. So any question or comment, commissioners? Question or comment for the public? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
B, public comments.
This is a time during our meeting in which we allow the public to come forward, identify themselves, and they're welcome to speak on anything other than what was on the agenda.
James Lacey Cammett, 1119 Pembroke, Apartment 4, Owensboro, Kentucky, United States of America. God bless America as always. Judge, I just don't think it was mentioned about the drug program, that we can turn those drugs in. As someone that has attended water resource meetings put on by the Sierra Club, a lot of the drugs we flush down the toilet end up in the river and are psychoactive that are not really filterable out of modern systems. So like Evansville, there's an increased, I wouldn't say there's increased psychoactive drugs, but there is evidence that it is showing back up in our drinking water supply. So that's another great reason not to just destroy these drugs willy-nilly. I just wanted to mention that. And congratulations on the decreased tax rate. I think probably that's the #1 concern of most people in this community and for this commission, and that's quite an accomplishment. So I'd like to say something positive.
Okay.
But then also, Judge, I wanted to come up here and just apologize if I disseminated some incorrect information. And we've had some email exchanges about this, about the hospital's bond rating. Last time I mentioned that it had been downgraded. Maybe I used the wrong pretense, and we had this email conversation. But I don't know really if I should apologize or not, to be honest with you.
I don't think so.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is I really don't know the paper, and I do try to keep a record of what they print about the hospital. Shortly thereafter, printed another front page article that's saying that the hospital's bonds were downgraded. So, I really don't want to disseminate information at this. It's bad enough you guys got to listen to me and everything, much less for me to get up here and advocate something that's incorrect. But I really don't know. But I think that really goes back to what I was trying to speak back about, the lack of transparency. I do really believe in transparency. I do think as a community, if we want to go forward, we have to embrace transparency and give people confidence in our government and the entities that they own and control. And I know that's controversial about whether the community owns the hospital or not. But it really is hard to get a grasp on really what the hospital does and does not do and who owns it and their bond ratings, because it seems to be a lot of confusion. So I'll just sit down with that. But again, if I've disseminated any information, used the wrong pretext.
My understanding, and this was the email, and I don't ever have any problem with anybody to make those statements. It's just the back and forth, and I think it's always good. As a matter of fact, I would encourage more people to do that. My understanding is that the bond was not downgraded, but they were placed on notice or on watch that if they didn't meet certain performance factors within this next year, that a downgrade could be possible. My question would be, first of all, and I know there's back and forth about what kind of information you can get from the hospital. Did you call anybody at the hospital and ask?
No, I have a hard time just enough reading the paper daily and trying to stay up with the issues. And I don't mean that in a smart way. I truly mean it. I wish I did, but I really do expect to read the paper and get the correct information. And as I was reading that article next, it really talked as if they had been downgraded. So, but I know you tried to explain to me.
You believe everything you read or see on the internet?
Well, I do believe 90% of what's in our or 99% of what's in the Messenger Inquirer. I really do. I think they're a conservative newspaper. I know a lot of people think they're a liberal newspaper, but I think that they're
maybe
they're
not liberal enough. Maybe not liberal enough for you.
You know, and I mean it is probably their largest advertiser as well. You know, I would think the hospital spends quite a bit of money with the Messenger Inquirer, and I'm sure they have every emphasis to get things right when they print it about the hospital. So I'm just in confusion.
I will, if you call me, I'll try to remember, Jenny, if you remind me, I will call the hospital and make sure that I'm right. But my understanding was there was not a downgrade, that they were put on watch, and if they don't meet certain performance standards.
Well, I will concede that. As I thought about my statement, I really did think you were correct.
Yeah.
Truly, technically, they're not downgraded. I was using the wrong tense, but I think I've noticed
James Lacey,
that article came out, and I was really confused.
You know that old statement. You can't be just a little bit pregnant, and there's no technicality there. Either they were downgraded or they weren't.
But and like I said before in my email, it is a general trend that there's some real concern about the financial, fiscal, and people are leaving the hospital. We don't know why, and I got to throw that in too. I mean, they really do operate for something that's supposedly owned by the community and pretty much obscurity. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other question or comment? All right, next item.
Comments by Daviess Fiscal Court.
First of all, I'll start it off. Bruce, would you mind coming up and You know, a very old and, in my opinion, a prestigious organization, Pride, is going to disband. Would you kind of tell us a little bit about what's going on there? And
I will, Judge. Pride was an organization that I guess was probably started 10 to 12 years ago.
I was on the city commission, I think, so
And,
that was 10,
it was
12 years
really,
ago.
it was organized to help promote beautification efforts in the community.
Right.
And we had Pride Day for a number of years, and over the years, the interest and support just kind of dwindled. I don't know if other organizations were doing some of those things. The city has neighborhood alliances who take care of some of those type of beautification efforts in their own neighborhoods. So we had gotten down to a small board, and we're having difficulty recruiting people to serve on the board. So the Pride board had about little over $40,000 in our account, and we have decided to disperse that to some various organizations in the community that would promote the efforts that we've been trying to promote over the years. So, as you know, we have allocated some money toward Daviess County Fiscal Court, and hopefully we'll be bringing a check in the near future for a couple of projects with Fiscal Court. So, if that's okay, we'll leave it at that at this point.
We will, and I just want to say, number one, I'm disappointed that I was a member of that organization, attended those meetings on occasion, and I think it was the first or second year that I was judge. Well, it was the fall of the first year. Pride came to me and said, "Is there something that we can do?" And we had a lot of young people and other folks meet at Legion Boulevard. We came down here. We planted tulips and all kinds of flowering bulbs and those kinds of things. And I thought, and they did a lot of work in the medians in the community. I thought it was a very worthwhile organization, but organizations like that, even the city neighborhood alliances, are having trouble getting people to come to those meetings.
Yeah, and one of the things we're hoping to do is to allocate some funds to those alliances so that they'll have some money to do some things in their own neighborhoods.
So just on behalf of Daviess County Fiscal Court and all the citizens in the county, thank you.
Thank you, and we'll be in touch with you, and we'll be able to announce those.
That's kind of, I was hoping to get a bigger check from you, so that's why I brought you up.
We'll see what we can do. Probably not as large as the farmers market received.
There you go.
But we do appreciate it.
Okay.
So, thanks.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to ask the county engineer, Mark, can you give us an update on a couple of bridges that we have that are closed or restricted, specifically Reed Road and the Fields Bridge?
Sure. Let's start with Fields Road. Talked to the Chief District Engineer, Wade Clements, last week in regards to that. Of course, they are handling that replacement for the county. They said everything is on schedule for a January or February letting of that project. If that holds true, you're looking at the bridge being built spring, summer of next year.
Okay.
I'll keep in touch with Wade to make sure that schedule holds true. In regards to Reed's Road, which is a state highway, of course, a month ago, I believe they had some issues with some flooding, and it went down to one lane. The chief expressed to me that they're in the process of renting a temporary bridge. They think they can get it here in about a month, give or take, that will be built or put together and utilized. That'll open it up to 2 lanes of traffic. I think it has a 100+ ton limit, so that won't be an issue. They'll use that temporarily while they get their funding sources in line for the permanent structure, which will be a brand new bridge. Okay. I think they're trying to piggyback the emergency declaration and trying to get some money that away. They're trying to put it together as fast as they can. So that temporary bridge should stretch between now and the new bridge.
Okay. Just a couple other things. Our sewage treatment plant issue, we are close. We've got agreements with a lot of the parties. I think we have one issue that we're still trying to resolve. I'm hoping to have a public meeting within the next couple of months to talk to the 2 neighborhoods about how that will proceed. Once We're still waiting, Claude, for the Franklin Circuit Court to appoint a receiver.
Yes, Judge. We do have a meeting scheduled, or a conference scheduled, on the 28th of this month.
Right. We were hoping to perhaps get together with the other party, resolve an issue
And
that's
hopefully,
kind of holding things.
if we could get an agreed order before then
Then we can move forward
Yes, we can.
immediately.
Yes.
Other than that, we're probably looking at, if we have that meeting and things fall apart, it's gonna be another couple months.
I would guess it would be at least that long.
Okay, but while we're waiting, and we have a lot of moving parts on this issue, and we are continuing to move forward with grants and low-interest loans, and all the other issues negotiated with the RWRA, and I think we're pretty close with the RWRA thing. Division of Water, I think, is signed off.
I think everyone actually.
PSC is signed off, so.
Except for
folks, we're real close. Okay. We've been really working hard, and hopefully in the next couple of months, we will have a public meeting where we can talk to the folks in those two neighborhoods intelligently. I had one other issue, but when I get to thinking about those package treatment plants, just my mind goes blank. Commissioner Castlin?
I just want to piggyback your comments to Commissioner Coonsey. I too was on the city commission when Pride was begun, and I was not active in it, but I, along with the citizens of Owensboro, got to enjoy the benefits of it. And I thought it was a cool idea that whoever the original founders were. And anyway, the other thing, Judge, I want to thank you for all your leadership in with these two package treatment plants. People that don't live in those neighborhoods don't have a clue the potential catastrophic nature of what we're dealing with, and you do, and I appreciate your leadership and your hard work, because this is not something you pull off just locally. It's a lot of folks that have to be involved and have to sign off on things to make it work.
A lot of moving parts.
Yes.
A lot of moving parts. Thank you, Commissioner, and I just remembered the other thing. Folks, we've had a terribly wet summer. Things have just gone slow, particularly with our road crews, our mowing of the roads and the right-of-ways, and we've been getting a lot of calls. Understand, we will get to you. It just takes time, and we would not be very efficient if we responded to individual calls and loaded equipment, transported from one side of the county to the other to take care of a small stretch of road. I know some of the folks get upset that we don't come out and take care of those issues right away. I can tell you that the road crews are busy every day taking care of those issues. So I did remember that. Commissioner Wathen.
I wish Ross was still here, but I wanted to congratulate the Parks Department on a great event. They had the fireworks Saturday night.
Yep.
My understanding is everything went smooth. The parking, the amount of people were there was great, and it was a great show, and so they were very successful, worked hard, and made it happen. So.
Commissioner, you know, one of the things we talked about is the possibility, we're going to let the Parks Board discuss it, perhaps moving our show to Labor Day. There are so many of them going on at 4th of July, and you know, it kind of celebrates 4th of July as the beginning of the summer, and Labor Day at the end of summer, and we have the fire. I know Judy was out there with me, and she thought it was the best one we'd ever had. So
nice, and the weather was nice. Cool.
The weather was excellent, sure. Commissioner Colger.
I believe there's a paper shredding drive this Saturday down at the Sports Center. So if you got some extra documents, you'll come down and get them shredded. I believe there's a limit of 100 pounds.
100 pounds, I think. It's what it's been in the past.
That's what I thought. So anyway. Get rid of those documents.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Just a couple of anniversaries. I want to congratulate Joe Withrow. He's a firefighter EMT. He's been with the county fiscal court for 5 years. And Keith Payne, our road inspector, 25 years, Mark. I'm surprised he made the last 5 that you've been engineer. No comment? Okay. Guys, thank you. I appreciate your good service to Daviess County Fiscal Court and the citizens in particular of Daviess County. If there's no other business to be brought before Daviess County Fiscal Court without exception, we're adjourned.